We'll still continue with our special focus. The 16 Days of Activism campaign is a significant step towards raising awareness about gender-based violence and femicide here in South Africa. So the campaign has been instrumental in highlighting the devastating impact of GBVF on women and children and mobilizing action at local, national and international levels. However, GBV activists argue that a 16-day campaign is not enough to end GBVF. So for more on the story now, let's go back to our reporters that are, speaking to industry role players who are also trying to deal with the scourge, find ways to deal with the scourge. SABC News reporter Nonhlanlha Ntshingila is with the Teddy Bear Clinic at this hour, and she's speaking to Dr. Shahida Omar. Nonhlanhla?
Indeed, Criselda, I'll be joined by Dr. Shahida Omar from the Teddy Bear Clinic. The conversation still continues of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. But Criselda, the question stands, why should it be celebrated only for a few days and not throughout? Because women and children are being killed day in and day out. Women are being killed mostly by their intimate partners. And the question also arises whereby, what do children do? Do they deserve to be killed? We're talking about the likes of Likhona Fosi, who was mentioned by my colleague Nomtsigele Nthabela, Kutlwano Shabela, Jadine Lee Meek, and also the likes of Jocelyn Smith. But just to hear more about children, right now we're going to be focusing on children. I'll be joined by Dr. Shahida Omar, like I said, who's going to tell us more. Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us today and welcoming us in your home. Let's just talk more about GBV, more especially against children. What support does Teddy Bear Clinic offer to those children who disclose that they are being abused?
So thank you for raising the fact. Yes, it's not a 16 days of activism, it's a 365 days of activism. And I think what we need to understand is that safe communities protect children. Unsafe communities allow children to be violated, where children are at high risk. So what does the Teddy Bear Foundation provide? We provide services on different levels where there's continuous engagement with hotspot communities, disadvantaged communities, increasing and raising awareness around child abuse to identify risk factors, but also making them aware on how to respond and look at referral pathways where they can actually get help. So we're working with victims of child abuse, children who are violated not only outside, it's not only extrafamilial abuse, but including intrafamilial, where they are not safe even within their home environments, because many children are not safe even at home, where they are subjected, as you mentioned, the intimate partner violence, but that also intersects with children who are abused as a result of that dynamic. So our approach is not only prevention, intervention, but also advocating for the rights of children and removing children from risky situations.
And how do you go about counseling children who are being abused?
A very important question, because children are, traumatized. They don't have words to express. They don't even know how to make a disclosure. Often these referrals are made via ECD platforms, your early childhood development centers, sometimes from anonymous community members, sometimes from family themselves, and sometimes from healthcare practitioners. What we provide with children, very important, is that you cannot have the conventional way of talking to children. So we use play therapy as a medium of communication to relax children, because play is, comes naturally to children. So engaging with them through toys, where they express and articulate their, perceived and experienced fears. They often reenact the chaos that they're experiencing in their lives through the play, and the therapist would not correct the child, but would validate and reflect on the processes that the child goes through. And often we have found where children have been subjected to violence, often after a period of time, are more calm, feel more safe. It's important to create that safe and secure space to show the child that no, they will not be in any danger or come to any harm. And often we find that children would start opening up and sharing. We had a child who, because witnessed her mother being shot whereby the biological father stopped talking, and through a process of 6 months, the child then begins talking and was able to even testify in court, and was removed from the care of biological father and placed in the care of maternal grandmother. So that is some of the processes that we follow. But children come in broken, they come in a total state of devastation, but often leave more contained, more calm, and with more hope.
Doctor, to the viewers at home, the parents, the caregivers, educators, community members, how can they spot an abused child?
Very important question, and we always say to everybody out there, and you are right, it's not only just parents, caregivers, neighbors, faith-based organizations, the community members, people on the street. I think everybody needs to look out. If a child, if we look at this recent spate of cases where we've seen children walking unsupervised at unearthly hours, a child that is not properly dressed on a freezing day, a child that is left unsupervised, or if they hear a child crying all the time. I think these are red flags that community members, people in general, need to look out for the well-being of child, because it's a whole of society approach. It's not just parents. We have to go back to the basics, the fundamentals of Ubuntu, where your child is my child. So they need to look at anything that is out of the ordinary, that is not normal, it's not regular. If you see a child walking at midnight, or a child scraping the barrels, the bottom of the barrels, searching for food, all those are risk indicators. It's better to err on the side of caution. The rule of thumb is rather report than hold back, because one could save the life of a child. We've seen the case of Nikita, Jaden Lee, Jocelyn Smith, and these are all cases where people were aware that things were not okay at home. And I think this is what people need to be alerted to, that always report.
Thank you so much, Doc, for joining us and giving us that information. There you have it, Griselda. 16 days of activism shouldn't be only celebrated throughout few days, but it should be a 365 days